Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, commodity ETFs that I follow. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. I did just release the midweek update. Lots of really good entry points at this time across the board for a lot of individual companies and stocks. We still have the coupon code going on, LEAP, LEAP, 50% off the first month, and a discount on the yearly membership. So let's dive in here. Let's see what's going on with the markets today. The dollar just moving sideways today. Not much action occurring in the dollar. It still looks good to go up at this moment until we see action otherwise. The 2-year yield down a little bit. And for the most part, it's just been moving sideways. Not really strong selling pressure today. And it's not convincing that this is in a downtrend yet. It looks like to me that we've just been floating sideways at the current time, and we still have a higher low. That could be the potential of a higher low. 10-year yield down a little bit. We're still within the channel, just moving sideways. And the 30-year is also moving sideways. We are selling off a little bit to the downside, where maybe the longer end of the curve could pull back a little bit, where um, where we could see lower yields. We've got TYX TNX ratio still moving sideways, still inverted, and still at a great location for gold and precious metals. Whenever it is low like this is generally a good spot to be looking at precious metals. TLT bond prices moving higher, and that does look like it will continue higher. So the long end of the curve, looking at rates, very well could break out here. Bond prices up, rates maybe pull back on the 20-year yields here. 2 and 10 up a little bit, yield curve inverted, but for the most part, we've just been moving sideways in this large inverted yield curve for a very long time. We've got gold up $37 an ounce. It looks fantastic. Pretty strong candlestick today. Momentum is still to the upside. It looks really good. Silver up a little bit, up about 0.5%. We're still at that support area that I'd like to see get broken here over the next few days. We want to see this move to get a strong monthly and quarterly close for silver. So let's hope that we can get a strong end of this week moving on up. Platinum down a little bit today, but it still looks pretty good. Very cheap price down here, $910 an ounce. And we do have a wick on the bottom, which means momentum is coming back up to the upside. Palladium down a little bit, but we did tap our feet on the support line, and maybe we can work our way on up eventually. XAU to gold ratio, gold and silver mining companies stealing the show today. Big move to the upside for gold and silver mining companies. I do think that this is at a ridiculously cheap area, and I am excited by what's to come in the gold and silver mining companies. I'm hoping we can break this downtrend line and get moving here with a big break to the upside. CRB index, which tracks more of the oil sector, and we are slightly lower today, but still look good and composed to continue higher in this uptrend. Not a reversal candlestick, not too much selling pressure, still looks good and okay. CRB versus the S&P 500, we were down a little bit. Commodities were down a little bit against the S&P 500 today, but still looking good. We can also adjust this like this, where we are still above this grouping of buying and selling. And I do think that we'll eventually work our way up, where the CRB index will outperform the S&P 500. So GDX up 3.7%, ripping it. Looks really good. I like how we're getting these big bullish candlesticks. I like that a lot. And I do think it will continue higher. GDXJ also throwing down lots of big green army candlesticks is what I call it. Big strong close today with no wick at the top. I really, really do like seeing a strong day from left to right, closing like that. Looks really good. And SILJ also looking pretty strong today. Again, let's hope the momentum can continue. We're starting to break out of these patterns, and maybe we can get our run on, is what I'll call it. Maybe we can get a good run. Oil basically sideways. We sold off throughout the day, but we came back up with some buying pressure. Momentum's to the upside. Looks good to potentially try to run to the upside here with this momentum heading upward. So hopefully it can continue, and hopefully we can break out of here. TTF gas up about 2%, right on support. Looks okay. It's holding. Natural gas in America, a little bit more selling pressure going on there, down 4%. But you would have never known that if you were to look at the natural gas equities going up today. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, looking fantastic. Big bullish engulfing today. Buyers showing up, showing who's the boss, Tony Danza style. That looks really good. Look at the closing there, boys. That looks good. It's going to keep going tomorrow, probably. So big strong day today. Big bullish engulfing. We answered the selling pressure yesterday, and we're ready to rip. Let's go. Let's go. Breaking out of this neckline, trend line of this inverted head and shoulders. I think it looks fantastic. Let's hope that oil can put a good day in tomorrow, where we get this momentum and keep this momentum going in the equities. OIH, which is another one I follow, the energy service companies, and another big candlestick, bullish. We gapped down in the morning and we came up and almost eclipsed it completely. But it is a bullish piercing, and it does look good for the momentum to continue higher. It looks really strong in the energy, oil and gas sectors, and energy service. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, a little bit of selling pressure here. If we back out to the weekly, this is what I don't like seeing these big red candlesticks and then the bounce. See this bounce here? There's no buying pressure that's responding to this large breakout of this trend line here to the downside. I still think that there's possible downside in here. I know people don't like hearing that. We've got big selling pressure candlesticks, no buying pressure. Big selling pressure candlesticks, not a ton of buying pressure. There's a little bit. What I want to see is I want to see the buyers step in here and show me they're here and they mean something. And they very well could push this higher. Like to see a big bullish engulfing. And I'll be like, that'll be the first thing. I'll be like, yep, it's going higher. I don't see a ton of selling pressure on this right-hand side, though. There's not a ton of selling pressure here. So it is possible to push this to the upside. Buyers just got to step in here and say, hey, look, we're going to take control here and push it. URA, we were up a little bit today, but we're still, this is not a convincing move in the short term. It still, to me, looks like we could potentially dive back down here before heading higher. And again, I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to time this on the short term. I'm in it for the long term. I'm just going to ride. I'm going to enjoy the ride here, guys. URNM down or flat. It was up 0.04%. And we've had this nice big pullback. I don't see any bullish engulfings or any bottoming patterns. There might be one here. I'm trying to see, but we also had some pretty strong selling pressure after that. I don't see a ton of selling pressure on the right-hand side, but again, I'm open to either direction depending on the price action over the next couple of trading days. And URNJ is also kind of just sitting there. This one doesn't look as bad. We're underneath resistance. We've got a ton of support underneath us. I don't think this looks that bad for URNJ. So not all is bad. We could easily rip, and I would change my mind in a heartbeat if I see that. So we are hanging on. It doesn't look horrible, but we have had some strong selling pressure coming in. It continued to get selling pressure through here. And let's see if this can turn going forward into a green army, which it very well could. TAN getting some big buying pressure. We're starting to see the buyer step in here. We're probably going to go higher with tan. Be interesting to see if silver rockets higher, how tan responds to increasing costs of their inputs. Copper up a little bit. Copper looks good here. I like the big green candlesticks ripping it up. Small little tight pullback here. That usually signals a move to the upside. It means that I don't think this is necessarily a false breakout. I do think this is going to be a retest and a potential move on up. It looks good. And the equities are being purchased. Big bullish engulfing today for COPX. We're going higher. Very nice candlesticks all through here. It looks great for a move on up. We've also broken the downtrend line to the upside. It looks really good. Lithium up 1.5%. Bullish engulfing. There we go. That's what I want to see. I'd be a buyer right here. Boom. We're going to punch higher, guys. It looks good. REMX also getting a bullish engulfing. I'd be looking for a punch for a potential move higher over the next week or two. And it could happen immediate, or sometimes they like to drift sideways, get a bloody nose, drift a little bit, and then sometimes they break after. But it's a good day today for those two. S&P 500 still going up. They got to make the presidential election uh, move on up for stocks, right? And then the NASDAQ still holding steady. KRE, the banking sector, does like those weaker yields we got today. Rip into the upside. Actually looks quite good with the candlestick. I like these big green candlesticks. It means that we've got some buyers in here buying this ETF, and then it usually works its way on up. EEM just moving sideways, but we were slightly lower in yields, flat dollar, so it was flat today, slightly higher in emerging markets. Still looks good. XHB working its way on up. We're in a housing shortage, big bull market in home builders. We're going to continue higher until we build enough homes to actually replenish our inventory. It's going to take some time. Moo. Oh, look at Moo. I love Moo. Looks good. Broken down trend line, but boom. We've got nice big extension of a candlestick today. It looks fantastic to move higher for the agribusiness ETF. I've got a lot of ideas, in particular the fertilizers in this space. Looks good. Iron ore, that was Thursday, the 28th. That's weird. Came down 7% for iron ore, looking a little bit. Eesh. Like I said yesterday, the momentum's to the downside, not much of a bounce. We have a bearish engulfing, and we have a shoot lower today for iron ore. And I know that over in China, we do have high inventory levels. So we're probably going to come down here somewhere, bottom out, and probably sit there for a little bit until those inventory levels kind of deplete. Nickel down a little bit, so we're still basing out in nickel. We've got aluminum up a little bit, basically flat, right above support, still holding on. Baltic Dry Index is lower with iron ore. Remember, iron ore is a driver of the Baltic Dry Index, one of the main things that gets shipped. And we're coming back a little bit in Baltic Dry Index. Newcastle coal up 2.28. This looks fantastic down here. I'd like to get me some coal down here, and I do think eventually it's going to work its way on up with time. Bitcoin down a little bit, 1.3%. Still looks good to go higher. We've got two small little down candlesticks. That is not reversal candlesticks. They still look good to go up. Same with Ethereum, broken down trend line, small little selling pressure. Still looks okay until it doesn't. SMCI, small little down day today. Is this a shoulder head shoulder with a neckline through here? Don't know yet. That is just a guess. I'm not stating that as 100% fact, but we're watching it together. And then NVIDIA also getting some selling pressure down 2.5%. We're starting to see the bearish engulfings come out, and the red candlesticks are starting to get larger. That is generally what you see when things get closer to a potential top. But this will probably run into maybe buying at the Federal Reserve because they got to prop up the S&P 500 for our boy Joe Biden, right? Okay, not my boy, but maybe your guys' boy. But that they're going to try to prop all this up, I think. So that's all I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you like. We've got a 7 a.m. question and answer session coming up this Saturday. If you're interested or if you're a member already, definitely hit me up this weekend. Ask me whatever questions you got, and we can look at the companies and see what looks good. That's probably what I'll end up doing is start looking at some of these companies. Maybe we dig into the financials a little bit. Some people were asking about that. So that's all I've got. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.